Hey, yo, what's up? So, I wanted to talk about how, for some weird reason, people get so offended and triggered when they hear that an undesirable guy wants a girlfriend, right? For some reason, people will start calling you entitled. You're entitled to women, bro, or you think you're entitled to women, you're a misogynist, all that kind of stuff, right? They just it's like they don't even really consider you a human being, to be honest, right? Because if they were to acknowledge that you are a human being, then they would have to acknowledge the fact that you have human emotions and hormones, right? And you will have some desire to want a relationship with a woman at some point, right? You're gonna want some kind of relationship. It's not every guy wants maybe a girlfriend, but they'll want maybe just a purely sexual relationship, or like friends with benefits, or just sleeping with women, right? With one night stands, that kind of stuff, right? But the point is, undesirable guys, unfortunately for everyone else, right? They're still human beings that are governed by the same hormones and emotions and brain chemistry and feelings as a normal person, right? So it's triggering to some people, right? Especially, I guess, to some women, right? They'll just instantly claim that, oh, the fact that you want a girlfriend, and you can't get a girlfriend and you want one, all this stuff, they're gonna claim, oh, you're like a bad person, or you just have a bad personality, bro. As if personality is the number one thing that dictates whether or not you can get a girlfriend, when we know that's obviously not true, right? Everyone knows about Jeremy Meeks, right? The just the attractive felon, right? Just be an attractive felon, bro. Just attractive felon, Max. Is this what? So it's like, how are you going to tell me? And he's probably not going to be the only one, right? He's not going to be the only attractive, bad person, right? I'm sure someone will say, "Oh, bro, but he changed, right? He's a good guy now, or whatever." I don't even know, right? But I'm sure someone will say it. It's like, "Oh, he's out of prison, bro. He's a good guy now." And but let's be honest. If he didn't get his shot, right, to just change his life, right, by being attractive, do you really think that he would people would say that he changed or anything? If he didn't get that shot, would he wouldn't he he'd still probably be the same person, right? So it basically is just his looks that made him change his life, right? Because his looks gave him that opportunity, and so he says, like, okay, he makes the cost benefit analysis subconsciously, right? I really doubt most people are like, oh, I have the choice to change and gain this, or I can stay the same and not gain this or whatever. But whatever. He made that cost benefit analysis in his head or whatever, and bam, he says he's going to change now, and it's for his benefit, right? He can go from what is it, just probably low, average, middle class, probably one of those two, and then to upper class now, being able to profit and be what is some model, right? Just because of his looks. And like I said, he's not the only one, right? So it's like he didn't start off with a good personality, right? He didn't start off trying to make motivational speeches like, what is it, like, don't ever get up or something like that, right? It's like, come on, bro. How are you going to say personality is important when it obviously isn't? Now, at least not having a good personality, right? When people say they have a good personality, they tell you to have a good personality. Typically what they mean is just some people will say, oh, just be a good person, bro. But that obviously isn't true, right? You can see that from the whole Jeremy Meeks things, and there's several other people, I'm sure, who are other bad, bad people, morally bad people, but they still are able to have partners. And it's just so common, right? It's like, you don't let's like there's tons of, dictators in the world, that they have women that like them. Tons of criminals, right? I talked about, was it even my own mom, right? Like writing letters to people in prison. It's like, come on, bro. It's like, how is that not the most black pilling thing ever, right? When even your own family members, oh, it's like that you can see that the people they're attracted to are not even the same type of people that you are, right? I think it's truly blackpilling, I guess, if you have like a mom or a sister, right, and you see that they're attracted to guys that don't look like you, right? Because you can legit see what type of men a woman is attracted to, and it's brutal. It must be really brutal for any guy, right? It's like, especially if they see the guy that their female relatives, or the guy that they're attracted to, is so like vastly different, like a complete different, like if they're a complete different race, a complete different type of personality, all of that kind of stuff, right? Different social class, all this stuff. It must be truly brutal to, like, well, once you really realize, it's like, wow, wait, my mom told me to, be a good guy, and then girls will like me, yet she's not even attracted to good guys herself. It's like the way that she wants me to be. It's like, it's like they're raising you basically to be a beta bucks, right? And that's truly brutal once you, wake up from the blue pill nightmare, right? And it's like, wow, you're almost being brainwashed by your own family. And they probably do it. They're probably not even conscious that they do it. They just, because it's like they virtue signal, right? They virtue signal and say what is correct, right? Not what will actually get you results, but what is correct. I mean, I've had it with, I had that experience recently, where my own mom told me to just go to church to find a girl, right? A girl that had made mistakes in the past and was now trying to repent. To go find a girl like that at church. Like, imagine how brutal it must be to get advice like that from your own parents. Like, your own parents think your value as a potential mate is basically just to fix someone else's life, right? Another woman's life. Because they have to be thinking about it from the perspective of another woman, right? Because that's what another woman's going to do. I guess maybe not, your dad may not give you that kind of advice, because, maybe he'll put himself in your shoes, or, that's a much more likely scenario, where it's like, he's going to think, it's like, why would I want to take care of another woman's child, and, or like, they're a single mom, or, find a woman who has, potential issues, like so many other issues stemming from having so many other failed relationships, or just sleeping around, or, just basically, being a degenerate, right? Isn't that kind of brutal? I mean, I think it is, right? It's like, it almost kind of, like, I didn't respond to that, but I felt, almost, like, I not offended isn't the right word, right? But it's like, in a way, I am kind of offended, right? It's like, but like, I'm not going to take it personally or whatever, but or seriously, but it's like, I'm saying a lot of nothing right now, but yeah, basically, it is almost offensive in a way. Like, you have to think it's objectively offensive to have your own parents tell you, when your parents are supposed to, right? Supposedly, think you're valuable, right? Even though I know I'm not delusional. I know I'm a no value male, but they're supposed to have that delusion that you're a valuable person, right? Because you're their offspring. but then they tell you, just go find a woman who has made mistakes and is now trying to repent and trying to fix them. It's like, like maybe they are right. We can say the benefit of the doubt, but it's like, if you have gotten no attention from women, it's like, you don't have a girlfriend, never had a girlfriend, kissless, hugless, handholdless virgin. Why would it be a good idea for you to, try to be, like, what is it? They call it Captain Save-A-Ho, right? Why would you want to do that? Right? And, try to entertain a relationship with someone who is on the extreme opposite end of where you are. You're the kissless, hugless, handholdless, dateless, everythingless virgin. Meanwhile, she's probably, been with, multiple guys, right? It's like, it has so much more dating experience, more promiscuous than you, probably has more, goes out and drinks more and all this other stuff. It's basically why, as a low or as a high inhib male, undesirable male, why would you try to, go with a low inhib female that has, that now wants to change? Basically, they want someone to, they want a backup plan, right? They're done having their fun, right? When this type of woman would have never chosen you, in their younger years, right? Let's say in my situation, right? If we're both going to be either in the late 20s to early 30s age range, she would have never chosen a guy like me, in her early to mid 20s, right? She would have, I completely ignored me, I'm completely invisible and undesirable to her. Yeah, I'm supposed to somehow say, oh yeah, I'll take you on now and, accept you. And then, meanwhile, she's gonna, it's always at the end of the day, she'll always secretly resent me, right? Maybe not even secretly. It'll be like, like, it'll be obvious that she resents me and like just puts up with me, right? Because it's obvious I won't be the type of guy that she actually desires, right? I'm just basically the beta bucks, the resource, right? I'm basically the human doing, right? I'm just someone safe to basically just extract resources, not even necessarily money, right? But just some kind of safety blanket, right? Not that they'll just kind of be there for like whatever, right? For like some BS emotional support or something, right? It's like, why would you want to be emotional support? Like, it's like you have the responsibilities of being a boyfriend, but you aren't going to have the luxuries of it, of actually being desired and wanted by a woman, right? Because she can't. She won't actually desire or want you. She'll just basically always resent you to some extent, right? And always, think about and dream about the guys she actually wanted to be with, right? But she can't be with now, either because they don't want her or because, they just don't align with her life, what she wants in life anymore, right? But unfortunately for some people, right, they don't like to acknowledge it, but there's consequences for every action, right? It's like the consequences, of them wanting to just, be with certain guys who they know won't, who just want to basically use them, right? There's consequences for that, right? And, I understand there's consequences for me for being an undesirable male, right? For never having a girlfriend, right? There's consequences for that, right? You basically, either have to, deal with, women who, you have to basically be, a beta bucks for, or just be alone, right? You'll never have a woman truly, genuinely desire you for who you are if you're an undesirable male, right? If you don't get that validation early on, it's basically game over, right? Your early teens or late teens, all those years as a teenager and early 20s, right? they kind of dictate whether or not women find you attractive or not. Like, you can tell. It's like, did you have a girlfriend in high school? Did you have a girlfriend in college? Or any kind of female validation, right? If you didn't, odds are nothing's gonna change, because people don't really change, right? They'll always be at their core the same way, right? They just hide it more as they as they become older, because of to keep up appearances, right? Keep up public appearances and appear, like a good person, right? Be a virtuous person. Appear as a virtuous, moral person, right? The virtue signaling, So, I mean, I guess TLDR, right? It's basically over, right? And people get triggered that you want a girlfriend, because I guess it offends them. I guess I would think it especially offends women, right? And people who or maybe feminists, that kind of person, right? Who's gonna think, oh, the fact that you want a girlfriend, they somehow overreach and think, oh, that means you're entitled. You think you're entitled to women, then you're misogynist and all this other BS stuff, right? I mean, at the end of the day, they'll say anything to basically knock you down and make you seem like a bad person, right? And attack your character. But at the end of the day, you're not really doing anything wrong. You were just born wrong, right? That's the brutal, unfortunate truth of it all. So, it's kind of it for now. So, later.